to kick off, sharing something? Adam's gone. Who would like to share? Andy Broughton. Andy Broughton, unmute your microphone and share for us your favourite memory of Kirstie.
Yeah. Sorry, obviously, we were fortunate. We have to really appreciate the way that God works, because basically, Goldie, Andy Gold, Grant McDonald, Dan Davis, Neil McKenzie, Andy McLeod, myself, and Melanie Martin. Most of us came from London to start the mission for Scotland in Edinburgh in '92. And a first campaign was called Run for Your Wife. I decided, because we had 6 men, that we needed to make sure we got more women in the church. So we started a campaign called Run for Your Wife. We could only invite women to church. And Kirstie was one of those people to become a Christian, along with Avril and Gold. And they came to the first service. And then the following Thursday, we had a Bible discussion. And I did a Bible discussion on an old James Lloyd sermon called Judgment Day. And at the end of the sermon, Kirstie was so convicted about Judgment Day that she was so eager, with such a pure heart, to really study the scriptures with Melanie Martin. And she was the first one to be baptized in the Edinburgh church. And to see her life pan out and how God has used her life, he knew right from the beginning what she would have and the effect that she would have in the kingdom, and also for people outside the kingdom in bringing them in. She was a daughter in the faith to me and to Melanie. We cherished her and we loved her with all our hearts. And I'm always inspired in life and in death, the way that she conducted herself as a Christian is just amazing and unbelievable. She'll be dearly missed by all of us, but the great thing is we will see her again in heaven, and that will be such rejoicing when we all get there.
Oh, where am I? Thank you, Andy. Thanks very much for your sharing there. Yeah, that's good to get the perspective from 1992. Thank you for that. Would anybody else like to share something?
I would just like to say hello from Birmingham, first of all.
Hello,
and Mike.
I've got 100 people on this Zoom. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah. Tam Kennedy from Birmingham.
I thought it was Tam. Nice to hear from you, Tam.
Yeah, Mike, I thought you had a fantastic service today, mate. That was brilliant. You really did Kirstie proud.
Good, thank you. That was the aim.
Yeah, it was fantastic, mate, let me tell you.
Good. Okay, thanks for sharing.
No problem.
Nice to see you, Tam. Just thinking I hadn't seen you for a long time, so that's good.
I know. Do you know the last time I was in Scotland was actually on Thursday of last week, but I was only there, like, I went up Wednesday evening, spent the night at Glasgow Airport at the hotel, went to a customer site just round the corner Thursday morning, but was there about half an hour, then travelled all the way back down to the Midlands.
Wow.
So didn't have a chance to get to meet anybody or stop or anything, unfortunately.
Drop in.
Yeah, next time, hopefully. You know, we're in a crazy world as well, you know, with the lockdown and everything. So
we are. Okay, who else? Let's have hands up, or I think you can now. I'm sure you can signal somehow.
Nancy.
I'm not very good at this. There are 4 pages. Nancy would like to say something. Nancy, unmute your mic, and everybody else can mute. That'd be great. And share away.
Well, thank you very much. Avril and Anne Gold both invited me to the Edinburgh Church. And Annie Broughton was leading it. It was in 1992. And there were only a few sisters. There was Kirsty and Helen. Melanie had gone back down south. And there was myself and a few others. And when I was newly baptized, Kirsty took me out baptizing. She took me out evangelizing a lot, to teach me how to reach out to people and how to be relatable. And she spent a lot of time trying to help me control my emotions, which was good, seeing a Christian is in control of their emotions. And she was wonderful. And I have many memories of Kirsty singing. And I know that one of the songs that she loved was Voice of the Paragon. And I know that she loved that song that Rochelle and Scott have just sung, Create in Me a Clean Heart. And I have many memories of these songs. Kirsty sang at our wedding, my wedding to Simon. And she's a beautiful Gaelic singer. She had a sacrificial heart, and she lived in the same flat as Anne Gold, who was suffering from multiple sclerosis. Anne's now gone to heaven, and Kirsty, with her sacrificial heart, was living with Anne Gold to look out for her. And Kirsty also looked out for many, many people. I have many memories of her spending hours and hours of her time setting up slideshows for the church to encourage us at Christmas, and for parties that we could invite people to. And she's just an amazing, godly woman, and we're all grateful to know Kirsty, and I'm very grateful that she lived in my flat for a little while. She's a wonderful woman of God.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Nancy. That's great. It's great to hear. Go
I'll
on,
just
Simon.
I'll just take the opportunity just now. Definitely, I think, as Nancy said, I think my main memory, obviously, is Kirsty singing at our wedding. But I'd never heard the Gaelic. I never heard a Gaelic song ever sung until I think it was just probably about a couple of months after I came to Edinburgh. Kirsty just sang a Gaelic song. I thought, this is stunning. I thought I really, really well. I fell in love with Gaelic singing after that, and Gaelic folk music, and that was Kirstie's influence. I think she was such an incredible example. I think she's been, 28 years of just faithful service to God. It was just wonderful. 19 years married to Adam. I think I just saw an incredible blossoming relationship there. I was just honored. It was just a real honor to be a part of even a small part of her life. I think she's an incredible woman, and I think she I loved her sense of humor too. She always had a real sort of laughing and joking. Her banter especially with Grant and Anne, was quite legendary. And so I think she was very, very special. We'll all miss her. But amen. She's in heaven. She's now with God.
Amen.
And that's fantastic. It's just so special. Thank you so much also for your message, Mike. You were just so awesome, so heart-rendering. It really got me emotional, got me all choked out. But no, we love her. We love you guys. So thanks for helping, for letting us be a part of your service today. So,
we love you too. Love you guys as well.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, there's no hands gone up, but I'm gonna choose somebody. Oh, there's not. There's Daniel.
Mike.
Oh, Mr. Daniel Makinson. Very nice to see your face. Where are you?
This is the amazing Watford. You wouldn't think
Wow.
it was so. Yeah, I came down to Riverside. Say again?
Is there life south of Watford?
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
So this is
there.
shut up. And Channel 5. So this is part of the Moors in Croxley, and I have two stories. I'll share them quickly. The first out of many stories, I mean, Adam and Kirsty laughing our heads off. But one of the things what is one of the funniest memories I have, if we're doing funny stories, that is that when we were at a small church, we decided to have a Christmas pantomime. And it soon became apparent that there was not enough sisters to play the female parts, if you remember. And for some reason, I think Will Smith got the short straw of playing some women in the Christmas pantomime.
I recall well.
You recall well. And I remember trying to deliver these lines. And every single time I've tried to deliver this line in a woman's voice, Kirsty would just crack up laughing. And I must have taken 20, 25, 30 minutes. Every time I looked at her face, I just started laughing. It was just so funny. I just remember that so fondly. Another time I remember, and Lorna sat next to you, right? Because Lorna's got a lot to answer for here.
Yeah.
When Lorna was a wee baby, she got very ill and got gastroenteritis. And it literally went through the entire church. Every single person was ill. And like one after the other, it was like someone was being sick, throwing up, you know, at the other end. One after the other, it was me, then Will, then Adam, and Kirstie's openness. One day, she said, I think she was working for Morgan Stanley. And she was telling me this story. She says that, Dan, I was so ill. I had to jump off the bus. I was running up the hill to get to home so quickly. I was just trying to get out of the toilet. It was so funny. I don't remember that. So Lorna, you've got a lot to answer for. You nearly killed the Glasgow church before we started.
Wow. Feel exposed now.
It was great. It was funny.
Thanks, Dan. It's great to hear from you. Great to hear your memories.
Yeah, that's one of many more where that come from.
Oh, we've got some raised hands here. Cara and Paolo, how about you?
So great to be on this call and just see all these great faces and everything this represents for us personally, for sure. So many great stories and memories of Kirstie. I think what I would like to share is my mind keeps floating back to when we were in in Glasgow many years ago, and we flew over to Glasgow to do a visit. This was and we stayed with the Birrs, and this visit was kind of the critical last bit of the process of figuring out, are we going to come to Glasgow? Are we going to move our family here? Are we going to take up these positions? It was our opportunity to just come and meet people face to face, and so of course the Birrs generously opened up their home to us for that week, and they were just brilliant with their hospitality. And Kirstie and Adam emptied themselves out of their own bedroom and gave it to Cara and I, and toured us around, and we were got the full force of the Birr hospitality. And then I remember, throughout our visit and throughout our time, we were meeting, having these sort of small meetings with the Birrs, the Smiths. Andy Torbett was involved at the time, that sort of represented the official team that was going to be in charge of kind of making the offer. And so there was actually another couple that had been involved in applying for the positions as well. So we were in a bit of a competition, I suppose. But I remember one of the very last meetings that we had, sitting in the Birrs' living room. It was it was the place in Ruckhill before they moved to Paisley. And Adam and Kirstie were there, and I believe William, maybe Ronag was there as well. Andy was there, and it was one of these moments where we're having some very diplomatic talks right here, because we're both feeling each other out here. I know the Glasgow group is feeling us out. We're feeling the Glasgow group out. We know this is a big decision to be made. So the conversation was very diplomatic and this and that. And then at one point towards the end of the time, Kirstie just looks at Cara and I and asks, "So if we offer you these positions, are you going to take them or not?"
On a scale of 0 to 10.
On a scale of 0 to 10. And Adam looks over at her and immediately looks back at us and says, "You don't have to answer that question." And it was perfectly fine. It was a perfectly valid question, but it was so emblematic, I think, of just Kirstie's character and personality, filled with warmth, filled with love, filled with hospitality, filled with generosity. But it didn't take too long to get into the relationship for her to just cut through the pleasantries and start asking the real questions and really want to know who you are and what you're about and what you're really thinking. And it was great. And so, of course, it was God's plan for us to be there and take up the positions and build so many more great memories just of our time with Kirstie and the Glasgow Church, and such a blessing. So love you guys. Adam, I see you on the call. Love you, brother. Look forward to just continuing to be in touch in the days and weeks to come.
And I'll just follow that if I may. Not as loudly, I can't match him in volume. But so Kirstie, to me, she was just the center of gravity in so many ways. And she drew to herself. I mean, I've never known anyone with as many friends as Kirstie Birr. And when the Birrs opened up their house, they could fill a house with people. I mean, it was incredible to see that. But Kirstie just really, she described herself to me one time as a bull in a china shop, speaking to Paulo's story a little bit. But I don't know anyone that just loved as fiercely as she did. And she had so much room in her heart for so many of us. And she's just, she's the kind of friend that gave me permission to be authentically myself, because she was always authentically herself. And, some friendships just fundamentally change you. And Kirstie is one of those friends. So thanks for letting me share.
Well spoken. Thank you very much for sharing. Right, we've got a few hands up now, which is great. Let's have William and then Gaynor. And we'll get some more after that. William Smith, unmute yourself.
I'm unmuted now.
Good.
Good. Well, it's great to see so many people from just around the world, and thank you so much to everyone for joining in. And yes, even people sharing already sort of reminds us of more and more things about Kirstie. I used to like when I had the opportunity to lead the worship and do some singing with the church, and I could only do that because it was a small church, because my talent doesn't really allow me to do that very often. I just really appreciated Kirstie would be appreciating the worship of God, but also seeing the funny side of my worship leading as well. So I see her smiling face and get that individual connection, that individual sense of humor and connection with her. And she did, like Kara's saying, love individuals fiercely. That was her, and that gave her conviction about a lot of things. And I really appreciate being on, when I was part of leadership groups with Kirstie, and maybe a lot of people can relate when they've been part of some organising different things, and she was involved in so many things. When you're involved with something with her, she had strong convictions, but it was based on love, based on really doing the right thing by people and showing love to people. And that meant she wasn't kind of a sort of like a very rigid person. She could see the individual needs in different situations. I think that's also a great thing for us to carry with us as people of faith and as people of a church as well, that always we are addressing individual people. We are individuals as part of a group, and that's something I'll always carry with me, that my big sister Kirstie will be holding me to account. If I'm going to do something, I better have good reason, and what are my reasons for doing it, but also showing me love, showing me great having a laugh with me, having a great sense of humor with me, and just loving me first and foremost. Yeah, that's some of my memories of Kirsty.
Can I share as well, please? Thank you. Yeah, I think with I see Iona just behind you there. So, hello, darling. And I think I just appreciate how Kirsty, from the moment I moved into Glasgow, took me along to all the Crollichan and the play groups, and introducing me to all the lovely friends of Kirsty on this Zoom meeting there from the Gaelic community. And I really appreciated through Kirsty to get to know you and how introducing me to Scottish culture and just culture of the language and seeing people, and so it really how much help that was to me to understand just a community that Kirsty really loved and had such a heart for. And for me personally, she would just make sure that I was able to be myself. And I think like Cara was saying as well, that because she was real, I could be real, and we would have long conversations in the evening after certain meetings to go through everything that was in our mind, but because we could be honest with one another, and I appreciate that as a friend. And I could cry with her, I could laugh with her, I could have we could organize together, and she would really pull me out of my insecurities, and I could pull her out of her insecurities. And just that partnership that we had together, we really truly miss that, but also have that in my heart to remember what we could do together, and how God brought us together in a very, very special time. And I so appreciate Kirsty and Adam bring me into their family, and I just love that. I feel a part of your family, Adam, and I really appreciate that. So thank you for letting me share.
Thank you. You've done very well with that, and I know Adam appreciates that. Okay, let's move on. We'll have Gaynor and then Tommy and Ishbel have not found his hand button, so we'll get them to share after that. The raise hand button is you need to press participants, and then it opens up a window on the side if you're on a desktop, and then you can press the raise hand button, which is at the bottom of there. So let's have Gaynor next.
Thank you. First of all, Mike, the sermon was just incredible. Several people said so in the chat. I've shared the link, and I really want to share it with people I'm reaching out to. It was just stunning, and it was just perfect, thing sermon done in memory of Kirsty. I've only actually met Kirsty a handful of times, but on each of those occasions, I've just been blown away. The most recent was at the Northern Women's Retreat a couple of years ago. And, I still loved Cara's tree root bridges. That's still a fantastic memory, but Kirstie's, I think Kirstie's lesson that she did was just so memorable. It was so inspiring. It was so just wow about just reaching out and having an impact on those around her despite her circumstances. And at the time I was just sort of really quite troubled with stuff going on in my life, and my faith was at a low point, and I shared, but in a really sort of navel gazing way. But she just made a beeline to me, and just just so felt the love, the connection. She listened so much, she empathized, she's an absolute inspiration. And this morning I got sent a YouTube video of her, which was again done a couple of years ago, and she's speaking about she's just addressing an audience and helping people to come to faith, and just what an inspiration. It was amazing. So amen. I think she said in the video, you know, it's better to be with the Lord, and now she is. So yes, it's on one hand it's fantastic, but on the other hand, you know, my heart really goes out to you, Adam, and you know, children and everybody in the Glasgow church. But I know you're just all amazing, and you'll all you know, love one another, and amen. We'll all be in heaven one day anyway. So that's cool.
We all will indeed. Okay. Right, there's some good hands going up here. So let's have Tommy and Ishbel, and let's, after that, I think Ergie Wakefield has been on for a long time, so maybe we can have you next. So let's do immediately Tommy and Ishbel.
Thank you. I'd just like to say thank you to Kirstie for the example she set as a parent. Before we had May, we had a meal at the Birr's house, and it was just wonderful to see, you know, the way that she was there with the household, and you could just feel the love in the house. And before I heard that Kirstie was near the end, May was playing with the beautiful housewarming gift that Kirstie had given us, so she was on my mind already, and I was feeling that gratitude again. So sorry, thank you, Kirstie.
Yeah, thanks to Kirstie. Thank you, Tommy. Thanks for sharing. You like to share, Ishbel, or are you happy?
The thing that I've been thinking about is when she and Adam came to the house when May was very tiny, and she brought food, and she brought breastfeeding horror stories to make me feel better. Yeah, and that she made me feel like we were in a team together, which is incredible skill for anybody to have. Even when I didn't see her very often, and it felt like she and I were stronger together, even just as two people. So that was wonderful. May's hungry now.
May's hungry. Okay. Thanks for May sharing too. No, that's great. Okay, let's have Ergie Wakefield and would Claire Alonge share after that, please? That'd be great.
Okay, can you hear me?
Cherie Wakefield.
So Ergie Wakefield is Cherie Wakefield. It's CJ Cherie, yes. You don't recognise. Ergie is my middle name.
Good to see you.
Hello. Okay, so I'll just share quickly. My first memory of Kirstie was she was about 19. It was about 1992. And she was introduced to me because I was another young person. And she was introduced by Jackie Williamson at the time at Crystal Palace, and I just remember with this shock of blonde hair and of course the Scottish accent, and I think we're introduced because, you know, I'm half Scottish as well. And I think it's just one of those relationships where we've always been friends, like sisters. We've scrapped, we've fought, we've laughed, we've cried, we've had multiple children. And I think one story, I remember Adam, we were hanging out with Adam and Kirstie, we had about 2 kids apiece at the time. And can they hear us? And then Adam and CJ were like, hey, why don't we go and pick up a car? And then Kirstie and I were looking around, were like 4 kids. We're like, Kirstie's like, I think we've drawn the short straw. And we were just like cracking up. Just the guys had just left us, and the kids were crying. We were like, ah. But I just think these memories that bond you, you know, I think Adam, amazing. I always think of, we'd go to your house and there'd always be lots of people, and you'd get your mum on the screen and the kids would be playing and we'll be trying to have conversations, and then more people would come over. And I think that was just life in the Birr family, and everybody was part of that family. And I just think of, yeah, just fantastic memories of everyone in Glasgow, you know. And we just thought, for us, it's just so encouraging knowing that Adam and the children have all of you amazing people around them, because there's no church like the Glasgow church. You guys are amazing.
Amen.
And I'm going to stop speaking now, because this is the time to celebrate that wonderful friend.
And for me, I think there's one word that comes to mind when I think of Kirstie, and it's genuine. Just genuinely loyal, genuinely faithful, genuinely Christian, genuinely Scottish, genuinely adventurous. Just, I could go on and on and on. And I think that's when I first met Kirstie about 20, coming up to 22 years ago, when we worked in the ministry together in Croydon. That's the thing that stood out to me immediately from that first moment, and that has then endured all the way to the very end. And it's just such a powerful quality that she had that will always stay with me. I just remember even when we were, you know, we were leaving the church in the south and looking for a new ministry position, and she was just genuinely enthusiastic about getting us up to Scotland. We were only supposed to be there for 3 months. It was like over 3 years in the end, you know, just because of Kirstie's genuine enthusiasm to make it happen. Just what an amazing woman. Amazing woman. So yeah, many memories, but I just think that word is a very powerful word for me, for our dear Kirstie.
Thanks so much, CJ. I'd say it was really nice to see you again, but I can't see you anymore. But it was really nice to see you briefly. Let's catch up soon. Great. Let's have Claire. Can you unmute yourself? And then maybe after that we'll have, what about somebody from Glasgow? Let's have Chris and Suzanne after that. Oh, there you are.
Hello everyone. Thank you so much for the chance to share. Yeah, I just have to say thank you for the service, Mike. It was amazing. You know, it's just been such a difficult, obviously such a difficult time in many ways for everybody, but and obviously, you know, God blesses us with our emotions. We're able to cry, but I found that listening to you was so comforting. I think it's just so nice to commune with other brothers and sisters when, you know, we're going through a time of loss. But I mean, I'll try and keep it brief, but I mean, basically, I've just been thinking the amount of things that I didn't know about Kirstie, because like I got baptized 33 years ago and 1 month. And I think, I can't remember the exact year of Kirstie's baptism, but obviously quite shortly after the Edinburgh Church was sent out. And then she came to London, and I remember her preaching on, sharing on the stage, and she was so zealous. And I was just thinking, oh, this girl's amazing. And there's so many details. I remember Run for Your Wife, but I didn't realize Kirstie was met in that. I didn't even know I didn't realize she was baptized in Edinburgh. For some reason, I thought she was converted in London, because I knew her from a distance. But obviously, me and her both being Scottish, and we didn't have a lot of Scottish disciples then. I remember being told by Emma Scott to get ready to go to Edinburgh. but at the same time, I was about to go on a mission to Africa. So it's like things didn't work out in terms of me going to Scotland. But I was always immensely proud of the Edinburgh Church and the Glasgow Church, you know, just in terms of okay, so like with baby churches, sometimes they get absorbed into the bigger churches if they're not growing or whatever. Edinburgh was never that, you know. And it's like if you go and visit Edinburgh Church, you don't have to feel sorry for small churches because they're just amazing. I remember the first time I was able to get to even be at the church, which was because my people live in the north, was July 2017. And again, you know, there was just so much godliness, so much confidence, you know, you were just in awe. They're just like two mighty bands to me. I'm just so proud of both churches. But in terms of Kirstie, you know, I just think I look back over my life and I think, you know, so much of my life is being a disciple. You know, I'm going to be 57 next March, and I've been a disciple for years. I look back and I don't want to be negative, but I look at all the things that I wish I had done more, and I look at Kirstie, you know, and I just think on Friday we shared in the family group, and it was the parable of the sower, and they asked me to pray at the end, and I said Kirstie was the good soil, and basically whenever I lose a friend in the faith, to you know, who moves over to heaven, I always, you know, we cry, but I always try and learn something. I always try and improve my life somehow, you know, with when as a way of coping with the grief. And I think with Kirstie, I think I'll probably just definitely focus on trying to have more of an impact, because she's a very hard act to follow in terms of having an impact, but at least I could try and improve, you know. I love the memory of Adam and Kirstie coming to the south side a couple of years ago, you know, and again, I didn't even know Kirstie had cancer until Adam told me, you know. So I remember I really wrestled with that a lot in my heart for months, and even like a couple of years, I really wrestled with God about that. But you know, at the end of the day, God is near. He's near to us, you know, and he's near to, I believe, I lost my dad 5 years ago. I believe that he's near to anybody who's bereaved. So I really pray, and I'm so proud of you guys, because I know you're going to be there for Adam and the kids, you know. I just look at Kirstie, and I look at the pictures of the kids and I think, oh, how could she even have time to be such a great mom, such a great wife, and to have such an impact. I mean, I've got 4 kids. I mean, thank God they're all baptized. But it's like, I look at other moms and I just feel overwhelmed, even though I've got kids myself. So I love you guys so much. I love the churches in Scotland, and I love the Birrs. You know, it's been really hard for everyone, but I think, you know, together, you know, we can support each other, as Mike prayed. But I just thank you so much for the chance to share, and God bless all of you.
Thanks for your sharing. That's great. Let's have Chris and Suzanne next. And then what about, I presume H. Stewart is Helen, is it? Maybe you next. Chris and Suzanne.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, I first met the Birrs and Kirstie 19 years ago as a 2-week-old Christian down in Derby at a student retreat, and you guys made an immediate impact. And I was later to find out that you guys were coming to lead the Glasgow church, and you guys have been such a big part of my life ever since. And Kirstie, I'm sure Danny and Will give testament to this, but Kirstie had an incredible way of delivering a challenge, encouraging you and making fun of you at the same time. And it was in a way that was just the perfect encouragement for you to really change, because you knew that she cared about you in a way that only a big sister can. And you know, I remember the early days with myself, Danny, Will, Clem being single brothers. She definitely gave us a hard time, but it helped our faith so much. It was such an encouragement. And yeah, just knowing that she was always on your side and always rooting for you, always willing for you to do your best. You just listened to any advice that came from her because you knew it was in your best interest. And she's going to be greatly missed. And we just love the Birrs, and
yeah,
you know, we're going to be there for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember actually the first time I met Adam and Kirsty was actually before I moved to Scotland, because I had invited myself with another sister from the Danish church to spend a night in their house. We kind of just invited ourselves, and they had just gotten married. I think they had been married for 2 weeks, and we crashed their place for one night. And at that time, I didn't know I was going to move here permanently, but Kirsty, to me, is when I think of Kirsty, I think of someone who could really laugh of herself in a good way. You know, she could laugh of her own shortfalls without putting herself down, but also taking it seriously enough to really, really change, because she understood the grace of God. But she could laugh in a way that was just like, oh, I really need to change this. But she would have conviction about her sin, but not in a, I'm going to put myself down because I'm such an awful person, but just, man, I'm so glad of God's grace because I really need to change this. And just her humor, her dry sense of humor. And in many ways, we're very different people. And one thing I think of when I think of Kirsty, a lot of things I could learn from her, but one thing is her real genuine, unprejudiced love. You know, if I think of somebody, her love is just, it's non-judgmental and it's non-prejudiced. And I could notice that because it's something I can struggle with myself. So I could see that so clearly in her, like, wow, I'm already thinking of this person. I've already worked this person out. But she wasn't like that at all. She would just see, no, but they need this. I could maybe be a bit annoyed, but she could actually see the need for this kind of love or that kind of love that this person needed. And that's something I can definitely feel I need to be called higher in, that I just really, really appreciate about Kirsty. And she made, when we got married, we had some great time with Adam and Kirsty before we get married, and she made our wedding cake as a present. And, you know, just all these little things that were just incredibly personal. And someone mentioned before, you know, just the little things she would do that would be just super personal. It wasn't about money or anything fancy you could buy. It was this personal touch that she had put to something that maybe it cost £2, but it wasn't about that. It was this personal touch she would put to things. And yeah, there's still so much I can think about, you know, where I just think, wow, I need to learn about this. I need to learn to become more like that, because that's so Christ-like, that's so godly. And just her patience and just her faith in God and her thankfulness, even going through the last 4.5 years, with obviously it was a huge struggle, but the thankfulness she had facing those things, and obviously she had her moments, but she had it with such grace because she really, really trusted in the love of God. And, you know, I'm just so grateful for that example. And I'm so grateful because I know that has led her to where she is today, you know, resting in the arms of Jesus. And as much as we all, I miss her terribly, terribly. And I guess we all have our moments, but I'm just so grateful for that friendship, and so grateful, yeah, for you know, being able to say she was my friend.
Right. Lily the cat misses Kirsty too.
Sorry. Sorry for the noise.
Okay, let's have H. Stewart next, and how about Amelie after that?
Oh, hi. Well, I was going to say I only knew Kirsty through school, really, but then it's always the case with Kirsty when you would look on her Facebook and you would realise you had friends in common from a million different parts of your life. So how Kirstie Birr knew absolutely everybody in Glasgow, I don't know, but she did. And so many people have contacted me, you know, to desperate about this terrible news. Just in the last week, there's been mums and dads bubbling all over Glasgow about this, and we're not linked by the church. We're only linked by Kirsty. And I think that was always my experience of her, was she was very popular. So at the school, it was hard sometimes to get to speak to her because she'd be knee deep in people trying to get to her. And, you know, not only because she was very often surrounded by cake, you know, she really met people. She met people where they were. She was undemanding, but at the still, you know, not, she was not averse to poking you sometimes if you were being silly or not silly enough. And I really loved her. So many people really just love Kirstie Birr. She's great, and you're a great family. I loved that she slightly disapproved of me and my naughty ways, and I think she enjoyed disapproving of me. And yeah, I will really miss her, Adam. And Mike, that was a lovely commemoration. And if you ever need any help with anything, please do call.
Thank you, Helen. It's very
You're
kind of you. Very kind of you. Anything to say, Alice? No. Okay, let's move on. Let's Rochelle after the.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great, thank you for allowing me to share. I just wanted to share about Kirstie. I met her soon after I got baptized, so around that time, 1998, when I came from France. She was leading the singles with CJ around that time, and I just remember her incredible zeal. I think about this book that was written from Francis Chan about crazy love, and it feels like that kind of encapsulates Kirstie to me. She was a bit mad and crazy for people. She would do such radical things. I remember her deciding to reach out to, I think it was 100 people a day. Something, it was just mad, but she was just so zealous and so determined to just make a difference in people's lives. I think she was very upfront and very direct and wholehearted, and I know people shared how she had no pretense, and I just remember her joy, and I can hear her laughter. I know other people have shared about that. I can just hear it, and it's just so genuine, so wholehearted, and you know, it's lovely. And I can hear her voice with her amazing Scottish accent. I think she was the first Scottish person I came across, and I just remember her saying, you know, like she'd come and go, "Hello there," and that was not the best impression. You know, it sounded much better when she said it, but it was just so friendly and so warm, and yeah, just someone really special, really genuine. And I've learned a lot from her, and just hearing people share about her, it's, you know, it's motivating me to be better for God and to imitate her in many ways. So thank you, Kirstie.
Great. Thanks for your sharing, Emily. It's great. We're next, Scott and Rochelle. How about Serge after that?
Man, yeah, just ditto to everything everyone's already said. There's a couple things that really stand out to me that I'm gonna miss sorely. She had this wicked sense of humor. Like, she just seemed to be on everyone's wavelength, and you could just have incredible banter with her. I mean, she was almost really, well, she was cheeky, and I'm really gonna miss that. And the other thing was that, she loved to throw a party, and she loved to party herself. She would enhance everyone's parties, and I think my favorite memory of her was at her fancy dress party. I think she was dressed as Captain Marvel, and she was just dancing outside in the porch like no one was watching. She was just free. Yeah, an amazing woman. I'm gonna tag team to Rochelle. Joseph's not been too great today.
Okay, hi.
Comes Rochelle. Hello.
Just been a bit loud. Yeah, I really remember when I first had Joseph and we came home from the hospital. I remember I had told Kirstie that the three things I wanted once I had given birth was pizza, champagne, and cake. And so she came round with Adam, and they had this box, and right enough it had a nice big cake and champagne and pizza. And oh yeah, this is actually the bottle of champagne that she gave me because we didn't quite get around to drinking it. So I'm pregnant again, so maybe we'll drink it at the next one. But she was just so special, and she would always remember the small things that really made you smile. And she was just so giving and everything. And I did the girls club thing with her, and we came up with some wacky creative ideas, and she was always just wanting to go out and do something fun, and she was just always willing to give everything like 200%, and it was just so inspiring. So yeah, she always bring a smile to my face.
Yeah, she does with all of us. Thanks, Rochelle. Thanks for your sharing. That's great. Let's have Serge next. And what about Alex? Somebody from a bit further back would be great. Let's have Serge next.
Hi, Mike.
Hello, Serge. Nice to see you.
Hi,
again.
everybody. I've enjoyed today. Thank you so much. I mean, so much to talk about Kirstie. I met her as a customer, and we first opened the shop, the co-op shop in Glasgow Park. So she came along as a customer, always running. She has Daniel as a baby on a trolley, and she'll be coming straight up. And as soon as I will see her walk out of the store. And one day I was trying to catch up to that mysterious shopper. So I stopped her. I said, lady, you're always running. What's the rush about? And she looked at me funny, and she said, I'm in a rush. And she just walked out. And the following day, and she popped in again in the store, and I said, hello, how are you? I said, I'm fine, how about you? I said, I'm too blessed to be stressed. That stopped her right there. I said, wait a minute, are you a Christian? And I said, yes. And immediately she invited me to her house. She invited me to the church. She invited me with the whole family, and she was very supportive because at that time we were going into a tough time. My wife over here, Christine, was in the hospital. My son Enoch was in the hospital, and Kirsten was basically looking at me like, how can you cope all of this, coming to work and smiling at the same time? And I say, it's just by the grace of God. I cannot tell you how I do that. It's only by God's grace. And just a few weeks later, she introduced me to Paolo, the pastor back then, and she introduced me also to the wife. The husband, that was, yeah, Paolo and the wife. So basically, we became, I think I've been to uni with Paolo's wife, I believe same uni in America, Maryland. So we kind of grew as a family, and later on, I mean, Adams, it was amazing. He joined the church. I mean, he came to a Bible study once in my church. Basically joined that was a breakfast meeting, the men breakfast meeting, and it was amazing. So those that I've been talking about, all these stories have gathered us together to be one family in Christ. Kirsten, till last Sunday, while Enoch was in the hospital, he just came out of hospital 2 days ago. So she was still there, encouraging all of my family. And I just couldn't believe myself. Till her last minute, she was there pressing on. She was there encouraging my faith, my Christian faith. So that's a soul there. That's a Christian. That's a sister that I would say, I would truly miss. And I want to see her again. Grace. So she has that opportunity to see her on Sunday. And myself, I was in the hospital with Enoch. Christine was the last person to see Kirsten. I'll pass on to Christine.
Hi, Christine.
I don't know how to describe the emotion that I'm having at the moment, but it's a peaceful thing because you know where she is, but she'll be greatly missed because she was a sister, a friend. I don't know how to describe it because Kirstie was present in every part of our life. I ran a small charity for sickle cell when we started. Kirstie was just there to support me with the bake sale. She won't be there. The last time was in January this year, in January, where we were having the buns night. Yeah. She was the one who did the buns up and then the prayer and then everything. She was there present in every. I mean, I don't know how to describe Kirstie because she was just there. Whenever you call her, she's there. So I really, really, really miss her. Hopi was so sad and she was crying when she heard about that, and it's sad, but we knew that we will meet her. I just hope that we all gonna support Adam and the family. We're not gonna leave them because Kirstie's no more there, but she's there in our hearts.
Yes.
So we're gonna still be a family.
I just want to add up by saying we love you and thank you, Adam. Thank you, the whole family of Christ. God bless you.
God bless you, Adam, indeed. Yeah, okay. Let's have Alex Hurt next. And what about Timea after that? You've been waiting a long time too. Alex.
Okay, hi everybody. So here's Alex and Renee from Munich Church. Just sending you greetings. And just, you know, my first memory of Kirstie was, I think probably when I came up to Edinburgh with Tim Dannett. That was probably 96 or something like that. And it was the first time that I met the church, and Kirstie was there. And she was just very radiant, very joyful, very, yeah, sold out, as you say, 100% for Jesus. And that made an impact. I was a young Christian at that time. And I thought, wow, you know, there are some young people very, very passionate about Jesus who wants to follow him wholeheartedly. And it was a room, I think it's Charlie Fordham at that time, where we all met up. And, you know, after the fellowship, we had a couple of minute conversation, and she said, Edinburgh is a fantastic place. You should come, you should come to Edinburgh. And it was funny that she said that because a couple of years later, I think, yeah, 2000, me and Renee, we did go up to Edinburgh and spent a great 2 years there with the church, with everybody. It was a fantastic time. I remember us doing all kind of crazy things, doing all-night prayers and doing like a one-day Jericho walk around the city, praying for the Edinburgh city. We were playing football in the meadows almost every day after church, trying to reach out to people that way, and also played rugby as well. I think we developed our own no-rule rugby, and I regretted that because one big block jumped on me and I dislocated my shoulder. I still remember that until this day, and that I didn't like rugby very much anymore. But we had, you know, great memories of Edinburgh Church. And then I met Kirstie, I think when they were already dating with Adam, was already in Birmingham. Obviously, I knew Adam before that. Yeah, just looking at them as a couple who are making impact, you know, young couple, making great impact on people, and us connecting whenever we could. If we would come down to Birmingham for a day or two, we would get time with them. It was just great to see them really doing everything they could for Jesus, for the Scottish churches, then going on the mission team to Glasgow and their hearts and their lives. And what a fantastic couple. And now Kirstie is with our Lord, and we are, you know, we are, I don't know, we're sad and happy at the same time. So may God bless you all.
I'll just add to that. So obviously the 2 years we spent in Scotland was just two of the best years of my life, and I'm getting on in age. So, and it still stays, you know, it will always be the two best years. And I think what happened this week with Kirstie just sort of shook us all a little bit. It was a very emotional week. And I think, like many people said, she had such an influence on people's lives, and she calls us higher, definitely. I think we realized this week that, you know, this is exactly why we do what we do, you know, why we go through all the struggles, why we continue to fight the fight and do what is right, and, you know, all of those things. And my heart just goes out to Adam and, you know, the kids. We have two, and Louise is baptized now. But Madeleine, you know, she has difficulties, and it's a struggle. And we will pray for you, Adam, you know, every day. And I think it always gave us such confidence to know that you guys were up there in Edinburgh, and you guys too, Mike, and you know, all of the Christians that I see that are up there. I think it just, yeah, it's comforting to know that you're all taking care of each other. And yeah, we love you guys so much. I really hope that we will have the opportunity to come and visit you as soon as it's possible. It's definitely on our to-do list. We love you guys very, very much. And Adam, yeah, we'll be praying. And yeah, we're glad to be sharing this time with you guys. So I also thank you to everybody who organized it and let everybody know. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Renee. That's great. Very nice to see you both again. Let's have Tamea, and how about after that, Marlies?
Thank you so much for letting me share. I'm one of those old friends that was in Kirstie's life in that singles ministry in London, and I had the privilege to know her from there. She actually studied the Bible with me, so that's extra special for me. And she inspired me to go into the ministry because as she studied the Bible with me, she was just so giving. And I thought, why do you do that, Kirstie? She said, this is my job. I said, oh, wow, that's the best job ever that you can have. And after that, I was an intern too, and she just always inspired me with her passion, with her faith, with her love, with her zeal, and always being so honest, as so many of you mentioned, in such a way that it wasn't judgmental. Anything, like even if I wasn't still eating ice cream, I used to eat that ice cream, but it wasn't judgmental, and I knew what she meant, and I need to change. And she was just always direct to the heart. Whatever she said, she was just so honest and really taking you back to God. What a spiritual person. My big hero in the faith, actually, one of my biggest heroes, such a great inspiration for me. And I definitely, she was there at my beginning, and I hope I will finish similarly to her. What an inspiration to the end. And I know we haven't been in each other's life the last couple of years, but I've seen her in the Hope Conference. Even there, she was just giving birth to her baby, and she left the baby to come to the conference. And I was like, what a brave woman, how special. And I was there on your wedding, Adam. I don't even remember. I was sitting beside Kirstie's brother and found out about the Scottish traditions there, about the kilt and everything. I was quite fearful of that. And just how pure she was, even on that wedding, was such a great example of that. I wish she was in my life for the rest of my life, but I look forward to meeting her in heaven for sure. I was very grateful that this year I could read she actually invited me to read the Bible together, and I really enjoyed her spirituality through the scriptures and sharing her heart, because she just had such a view of God that's so inspirational and so giving. And I couldn't believe that, even just, I was actually blown away, because I saw her last week or 2 weeks ago. She was doing those cake selling for the cancer charity, and then the next week we found out she was dying, and I thought, how did she do that? And baking with her son, and how did she have the strength? And I just think it's because of God, because she was just so rooted in God, and for her nothing was impossible because she was with God and in God. And what a great example, and definitely my hero. And I'm gonna miss her a lot, and we will pray for you, Adam, and the family. And thank you so much that I could share. Love you all, Kirstie.
Thanks for sharing. Great to hear from somebody who, Kirstie helped to become Christian. That's great. Let's have Marlies next, and how about Millie after that?
Hi everyone from John and Marilise in Droitwich. Hi, Adam. Yes, it was lovely to hear everyone sharing, and I was just thinking of Kirsty. The first time we met was when we were both single and in London. We were both interns at the same time, and just sort of going through various sort of issues at the sort of same time, learning about ministry and growing our faith and learning how to study Bible with people. But just her faith has always stood out to me, and just her joy. One of the wonderful things is that we got to actually serve together in Birmingham for some time, and Adam was there as well. And just to see her serving heart, because in London we were in two different parts of London, so didn't get to really work with her. But when we were in Birmingham, actually just seeing her life was just really amazing, because she didn't just talk the talk, she lived it. Just the amount that she would go out of her way to serve. And I specifically recall one of our women's devotionals, and we were discussing the wife of noble character. And to be honest, when I read this passage, I actually always think about Kirsty when there's one of the verses that I read, and it was because that she actually shared about that line, and it was the line that says she can laugh at the days to come. And I remember when we shared in an ID group and she shared that stood out for her, several people actually laughed at that, but just to see how she went on and lived her life and the joy, that was Kirsty really. And so that will always remind me of her, because she was just an incredible woman, beautiful, amazing voice. It was always lovely to sing with her. It was always like there was a bit of an angel already there. And just to say, Adam, we, our hearts and our prayers are with you and your family. Kirsty has a special place in our hearts and in our faith journey, and that will always be there. And just to say we feel with you.
Thanks so much, Marilise. It's great to hear from you again. And yeah, voice of an angel, definitely. Let's have Millie and then Tone and then the Torbits. How about that? There's people are joining the queue even, which is great. Millie.
Cool. Hi. Thank you, Mike, for your message. It was actually really inspiring and challenging, and I really enjoyed you sitting next to the fireplace. It was very, very fitting. I knew Kirsty from her time in London. We actually shared the same. I think we shared 2 different flats together. And from the beginning, what I can remember her like this really tall, short, bleach blonde hair, because her hair is so big, so she always kept it really short because it was just easier to manage. So I love this. It's like it grew, and she would always be like in trainers, in track bottoms and t-shirts, and it was like she even just at a young age, like you could just really just see her love and her commitment for God. And I was like just thinking today, like, oh, what are some things that remind me of Kirsty? And something that comes to mind is like that she's almost, especially in early days and like as she matured even more so, a female version of Paul. Just her intensity, her genuine love, like her able to endure so many different things that she'd gone through, and still to be faithful, to still be really loving and joyful. You would like, see, because I was quite a young Christian. I was like 98, I got baptized. So I was really young as a Christian. So she made a really big impact on me, similar like to Amel and Timmy, and things even that she told me then, like still stay with me now on how to be faithful, like different views to have, like convictions to know what I want and to change. And it was just, she was just really very vigilant. She like was very careful. She had like, she worked like 200%. She gave her everything because she was so grateful for like how much God loved her. And I still remember like just her determination, her views, like even working for the church, that she would just give like her everything. And it was like, I just had to like, there's like, and I've been to visit, I love like the church both in Glasgow and in Birr, and I would always like come like, oh, I'm like here to give and to be able to support. Whenever I would hang out with Kirstie, like she would always, it would all be about you. She would just give to you. She would be able like just to focus just on just really caring for you. Even if you were coming there to like try and encourage and to build her, you would always actually leave more encouraged because she was just a great friend she was. And I would, whenever I would see her, I could just go back. You just have certain friends that you can just, even if you haven't seen them in a long time, you just always just your friendship and just catch up and just chat. And she definitely was that. And I love like her relationship with you, Adam, and I was there for the wedding, and your marriage and your relationship together, how much you had fun, how much you loved God both together and served to each other. And I loved like seeing her young woman just like grow and blossom to this amazing, mature, loving, beautiful and caring woman that she was in the end. And even just through the different challenges, how she still was able just to give, that she wanted like her life. Her gratitude just spurred her on to do so much because she knew on how much that she'd been saved from. She is extremely fun, as a lot of people have shared. She's up for like anything, extremely talented. I don't know of anything that she couldn't do. If she didn't, she will find a way to learn it, do it, and she would do. Her voice is absolutely beautiful. And I think like the first time I actually heard the song Wayfaring Stranger was by Kirstie singing it. I think I must have been like here in London, and it was just so inspiring, so beautiful, like angelic. And even every time like I hear this song, like it reminds me of her. She was just amazing, and I will definitely like miss her, and I'll definitely be continuing just to pray for you guys and hope to like be able to see you guys soon. Thank you.
Thanks for your sharing, Millie. It's great just to see how much she meant to you, and yeah, just yeah. thanks for crying. That's great. Adam Burr's got his hand up. Adam Burr jumps to the queue. I'm sorry. I say Tone next, but Adam, come on, Adam.
I was going to share at the end.
Oh, you can share at the end. No, you can share at the end.
I'll let everyone else share first.
Okay, what about Tone? Tone and then the Torbits.
Okay, thank you, Mike, and thank you for putting this together. Talking about Kirstie, a lot of people had said so many things about Kirstie that I wanted to say, but then I'll still say some things, you know. Kirstie happens to be the most genuine person that I've ever seen or I've ever met. When I moved to Glasgow, there was this fear within me. How am I going to survive there? I don't know anybody or whatsoever. Fortunately, we have a mutual friend that called Kirstie to say, oh, by the way, this person is in Glasgow. And Kirsty and Adam and Isaac came to see me, and that was the first time I met Kirsty, and that was it. You know, we became really close friends, and like I said, Kirsty was a real person. Kirsty won't say something, you know, you see some people, they'll say something and you look back and they're rolling their eyes and all that. You never see that with Kirsty. You know, she was really, really honest, and she looked out for other people. Like I remember the early days, all the student that comes into Glasgow during Christmas, Kirsty would go to them and say, come to my house for Christmas because they don't have family. And that was what she did with us as well. When the first Christmas was like, oh, come over to our house. And there were a couple of other two people, I can't even remember them now. And Kirsty, continuously, she was doing that to make sure that other people don't feel lonely. And she impacted my life in so many ways, People that knew me would know what I'm talking about. You know, any little thing, I run to Kirsty. Even with my boys, you know, she was there with them, you know. Any little thing, I'm like, Kirsty, this is happening and all that. I can't handle this, and they listen to her, you know. Funny enough, even though they would get in the house and all that. Once I say, well, you know, I've told Kirsty, most especially Isaac, say, oh, why did you tell her? Why did you tell her? And you know, Kirsty will help. Kirsty will help whatever I've told her about Isaac, and that continued like that. Even when she became unwell, you know, it was so inspiring to see that the way she knew what was happening, but she was still giving her best. You know, she was really faithful. She was reaching out to different people. There are a lot of ways that, you know, a lot of things that she does that amazed me. I remember saying to her, you know, during her lifetime that, Kirsty, if I were to be you, I would have broken into pieces, you know, because any little thing like this throws me off. But what she said then was that, you know, once you have God and you hold on to God, then you know that God can see you through whatever it is, that, you know, you should start thinking that way, whatever situation you are in, think about God and think that God will see you through. And, you know, that was really impactful. There's so many other things, you know, that was impactful. Kirsty look out for to make other people comfortable. You know, she will ask in her lifetime, are you okay? Whatever it is, she was always there. I remember when we're really struggling, you know, financially, Kirsty will bring love. Other people help as well. You know, Kirsty will bring a lot of things to the church. And when she was giving it to us, she'll say, oh, there's no how you're going to get it home. I'll drive you home. I mean, that was the kind of person she was. She will leave Adam in the church and say Adam will find, you know, his way, because the car wouldn't be able to take all of us. But she would take us home, you know, despite the fact that she brought all those things. She wouldn't say, oh, you know, you can find your way home. I mean, she gave and gave till the last minute. You know, that was the kind of person Kirsty is. And Adam, like I said, you know, through our chat, that, you know, you were an incredible husband. I mean, and you had lots and lot of faith. I wish I can even have half of the faith you got, you know, even 1/4 of the faith you got, because with all the things happening, you're still holding on and you're there. And I said to Isaac here, I said, you know what, you need to go and spend time. You need to go and spend time with the little Isaac. He was like, no, I want to go and spend time with their dad so that I can, you know, learn at least from their dad, you know. So thank you so much for all the things that you've enabled Kirsty to do. Thank you, Mike, for organizing this, and thank you, Glasgow Church, for all the impact you made in my life. Cara, thank you. I know you're in US. Thank you so much as well. Thank you for this time.
Thanks so much for your sharing, Ton. We've just we're moving along a bit on the sofa here to let Daniel sit on the end. So there we are. There we go. There's Daniel. Say hello to Daniel.
Hi. Bye.
Do you want to share anything, Daniel?
Oh, no.
No, Daniel doesn't want to share anything. Okay, the Torbotts.
Hello.
We have the Torbits. And then maybe we'll have Karen and Marco.
Katie's first.
They were next.
Yeah. So I knew Kirstie since I was 4 because we moved to Glasgow really early on, and since Iona's my best friend, so I saw Kirstie a lot. So I grew up with her, and you know, when she's doing her songs in the Kids Kingdom, she's like, show your action hands, and every single kid in the Glasgow church remembers that. And every time somebody new came to Glasgow, there wasn't a single chance that they wouldn't know who Kirstie was. It was like she had a little challenge in her head, like how many people can I talk to today? And she'd go around every single person. She'd never be in one place. And like how calm she always was and how relaxed she was with everything. Like I went to their house for a sleepover and she made us breakfast and all of a sudden the bacon was on fire. And I was panicking because it was fire. And then Kirstie, she was so calm, she just put it out like that. And the Llama Club, we don't know where we got the name from, but Kirstie was on board with it. She didn't care what the name was. She was like, well, as long as there's this group and they can all get to know God, it doesn't matter. And she just changed everyone, I guess. Yeah.
Great. Thanks for sharing, Katie.
Lizzie's not too sure. I'll just say a few words. I think to me, I think the last few days been quite difficult, I think, for a lot of us. But I know when I was when we've been praying in the last year, I think I've been quite selfish because I've almost been saying to God, you can't. Kirstie, it's just and just when I think of her, you know, even her and Adam when we saw them back in Birmingham, and you know, them going out, and you're kind of like, but Kirstie is just this amazing, beautiful woman, and Adam, no disrespect, Adam, you know, he's got his short trousers and his fully dressed sense, and you know, he's unique, you know. But the two of them are absolutely perfect together, absolutely perfect. Love God, really faithful, just take the mickey out of each other all the time. And it's just, I will so much miss her, as you said, you know, the little prods and the little pokes that you got from Kirstie. It's just brilliant. And you go in the kitchen, I mean, Katie says she's very calm. Sometimes she's absolutely seething with kind of like, what is this happening? But she's just so genuine, so amazing. And you know, you can go in and you can say exactly what's on your heart to her. You know, like, this is really annoying, or I can't get on with this, or, you know, I've got this problem, or even with Helen when she was going through her cancer treatment and everything else, you know, you can share what's really on your heart, and just get that total unconditional love, the care, just everything about her is just really special, and just gonna miss her a huge amount. And yeah, we're just the memories are great though, and I'll never ever forget such an incredible woman. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Andy. Great to see some of the middle-aged men struggling to hold it together as well. Your daughter's looking after you. That's good. Who are we next? Let's have Karen and then Marco.
Great. Hi, everybody. My name is Karen. Kirstie, my beautiful friend, she used to disciple me 20 years ago. Great memories of Kirstie. Her mission was always to save the lost in Scotland. I remember I used to sort of joke with her and say, oh, what about this brother, She says, no, Karen, my mission is to save the lost in Scotland. She taught me how to disciple people. She took me to the park, and I don't know if you've been in that discipling relationship. She said, Karen, I said, why are we meeting in the park? She goes, I've got something to tell you, Karen. There's a brother I like in Birmingham, and I'm leaving the south to go to Birmingham. I cried like a baby. well, our discipling was fun. Our discipling was trying to catch up with Kirsty. You know, she's always running, looking after that. Because of Kirsty, she got me into hope. Because of Kirsty, I've been to Haiti. Because of Kirsty, I've been to Nepal. Because of Kirsty, I've been to Glasgow. Paolo, thank you for preaching our celebration conference. I booked my ticket, I booked my hotel, and I went to Scotland. People thought I was local. I was so encouraged. I thought, wow. I went to Scotland for the first time because I love Glasgow. Every time, those who know me, every spiritual birthday, I go to different places just to give thanks and praise to God because of Kirsty. She taught me so much. She was sold out for the ministry. Timmy, who just had a baby 4 months ago. I was at the baptism. Thanks to Delphine sent me the photographs yesterday. And Adam, you got those pictures. Kirsty, she discipled me and she discipled me, but she taught me how to love God. She's still working on my procrastination because only last year I went to Scotland and I've been talking about it for such a long time, but I love Scotland. And Paisley, oh my gosh. Adam, thank you. I went to the house. I love Scotland. Maybe, I don't know if it's God's will for me to be in small churches, but I love Scotland so much. So yeah, she took me to, we went to Lochman. It was absolutely beautiful. I took lots of pictures and just had such a great time. But she always taught me to go back to the Bible. She was just amazing. When we went last October, because of Paolo's preaching, I bought my tickets and I had to go to Scotland. Absolutely beautiful place. And I thank God for all you guys. We had such great fun. I'm faithful today because of Kirsty, what Millie said. Millie's my roommate. I'm actually at my 90th mother's house, so she's not here, she's next door, just to make sure she's okay. But Kirsty, she loves her family. Her mission was Scotland. Her mission was Scotland. I pray for a crazy prayer during this lockdown to meet somebody from Scotland. I've got my lovely friend Marie I'm reaching out to. Wouldn't it be so lovely to share Kirsty's story? Wouldn't Kirsty be smiling now to come and keep going, you know, keep going. She taught me how to love God. She taught me how to love people because I thought, I can't share that with people. Karen, you've got to be open to discipling to people. You've got to be open. That's because of Kirsty. She was sold out. And of course, she loves Adam. I was there. I went to the wedding. I went to Birmingham, a beautiful wedding. Loads of us was there. And Adam, I'm going to search for those photos because you know me, I love taking pictures. I will pick, but I thank you for her. She got me to love Scotland. You know, honestly, the people, the local area, I felt very safe. It was so beautiful. People thought I was crazy, this woman on her own, getting time with God, just eating a lovely vegan restaurant. Even I'm not a vegan, but I saw a lovely restaurant across the road there. But my beautiful sister, Kirsty, was a vegan. So I'm going to miss her dearly. You know, I mean, her faith love to the very end. I work, you know, as a senior midwife in a hospital, and we've had some, you know, some cases, but Kirsty, what I see her, she never said, why? No, she was a faithful woman. She did not, no self-pity. You know, when we just prayed together. Again, when the brothers talked about the prayer circle, she said, thanks, Karen. You know, I've got Adam, I'm sure you saw the phone. What I've been doing to sisters, I've been reading scriptures, voice notes, and she said, last Sunday, we'll cherish that to the day I die. Kirsty sent me a lovely text. Adam, I'll send it to you later.
Thanks so much, Karen. Heartfelt sharing. It's great to hear from you. Let's have Marco, or is it Marco? And how about Emma after that?
Hi. Can you...
Hi, Marco.
Yeah, listen, I haven't really known Kirsty for a long time, but every time I met her, I just thought she was a remarkable person. And she had quite a huge impact in my life in the short time that I've known her. And I just wanted to tell you that, Adam, that, you know, this is just the beginning of something else. And I believe you will meet again. Oh, I believe you'll see it again. You know, I'm not very religious, but I have a lot of belief in certain people and faiths and whatnot. And I think Kirsty was just one of those people that says, you know where she's going and you're going to be there yourself, Adam. And it was a delight to meet her. I'm going to stop. Sorry. Thank you.
Thanks, Marco. Fiona.
Hi everybody. I don't know either, but I met her last year for the first time through Cara, and then again on the ladies' weekend, and always remember the arm knitting workshop. The weekend I didn't part in it, but saw the creations afterwards. And again, she had a big impact on me, even though I'd only met her several times, and I had some good conversations with her. And yeah, she was just a lovely person.
She was. Let's have Amma, and then Marie, who says, don't forget me. I'll never forget Marie. And then Rubik, and then Adam. Amma. Somebody else is texting me.
Thank you, Mike. Good evening, everyone. Really glad to be here. I didn't have. Sorry, I'm from the Manchester Church.
Right.
From the Manchester Church, and I didn't have a close relationship with Kirstie either, but her journey with God precedes her. It has always done. I remember her the times she, a handful of times she came down to Manchester, and you would have thought she was part of the church because she didn't come as a visiting disciple. She came as a member of the Manchester Church. And that's how she saw it, because she served, she sang, she helped with Kingdom Kids, when she was around. She didn't just sit down and take in the service, and, so you don't forget people like that. So what I want to say about her is, as much as I didn't have a relationship with her, what I noticed was love. I could tell that she had, a longing to help the lost. But even more so, I felt, for me, it was even more for, the disciples. She had a great love for disciples. She wanted to help, she wanted to serve, she wanted to give, to disciples. She wouldn't, if she saw you, down and out, or if she saw you in the corner, she would make a beeline for you and have a conversation. And so we had, maybe one or two conversations in the time that she came to Manchester. But even then I could tell, where her heart was.
Yeah.
So I'm just grateful that we have an opportunity like this tonight to be able to share about her and to give God the glory, because indeed it's his. The life that she's led is for us to take as an example, and and to follow, so to carry on the work, carry on, that wherever God has put us, that we've got to do more. We've got to do more. Either reaching out to the lost or even looking after the saints. It's so much. There's so much got to do. That she did that, and we give God thanks. So Adam, and to your children, we're praying. We will keep praying for you, and we believe that you will see her again. And I hope we all so that we can see each other again and give God thanks for the time that we were here for. So God bless you, Adam, and your family and your children and people in the Glasgow Church. God bless you all. It's not going to be an easy time for Adam and the kids, but God is there. And our prayers, hopefully, we pray that our prayers too will carry you along as well. So thank you so much for this time just to share.
Thank you. Great from you. Marie, where are you?
I'm here. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, gosh, just over 23 years ago, when Kirstie was 23. So that's half her life ago that Kirstie and I first met, when I first started coming along to the Edinburgh church. And I don't really remember when Kirstie, I don't ever remember our first interaction, but all I do remember is Kirstie was a huge part of Edinburgh. She was, you know, the glue that stuck a lot of Edinburgh together in a lot of ways. And she served fervently, she prayed fervently, she evangelized fervently, you know, she did everything with love and passion and kindness. And you know, then obviously she went away off to London to work in the ministry, which we were totally all fired up. We all knew that Kirstie's mission was the ministry, that's where she should be, in the hope that one day she would come back and she would lead the Edinburgh church. And that was, you know, always what we thought God would do. But God had other plans, and he took her to Birmingham. And I remember the first time I met Adam, I do remember that very clearly. It was actually on Mike's birthday, when Mike and I were dating. And I don't think Adam and Kirstie were actually dating at the time. But Adam might correct me on that. But yeah, I decided to have a surprise. Like, I was actually in Leeds because I was getting fitted for a bridesmaid dress for a sister who I was going to be bridesmaid for in Leeds. And Mike was at work in Birmingham this week. So I phoned up Kirstie and I said, hey, I wonder if I could come down to Birmingham. Is there somewhere I could stay? I'd like to see Mike, but don't tell him. So she was like, yeah, come stay with me. And that was the first time I met Adam as well. And it was so obvious that Adam and Kirstie liked each other. It was like, you know, you couldn't miss it. You just knew, you know. And I'd said to Kirstie, so after, like, Adam and Kirstie, they took me for an Indian meal. We had an Indian meal, and then I stayed at Kirstie's night. And I said to her, you know, Kirstie, what so what is it about Adam? What's happening? And she's like, yeah, you know, she said the first time we ever went on a date, I think she was actually still in Edinburgh. Is that right, Adam? Was she still in Edinburgh the first time you ever went in on a date? Or was she in London? But I remember she said, what?
She was in London at the time.
Right. And she said to me, yeah, the first time I ever went on a date, she said, with Adam, she said, I thought, yeah, I don't fancy him. He must be the one. And he was the one. And it was just amazing to know that a year later, and it was exactly a year later, we were all married. Like, so from the first time I met Adam, and it's exactly a year later, Kirstie was the first person I told I was pregnant with Lorna. And I remember her expression. Well, I was on the phone and I said to her, Mike's birthday tonight, there's going to be sharing in church. But by this time they'd moved to Glasgow. They were leading the Glasgow church. And I was thinking it would be a great opportunity for me to share tonight with everybody for the first time that I'm pregnant. And I think she nearly dropped the phone. She thought I was kidding. And I was like, no, I'm not kidding. And that was a really wonderful journey, because what came from me was Lorna, and Lorna and Kirstie have been incredibly great friends ever since. You know, look, you just see, like, the Birrs and the Jarvises, they're just so integrated. You can see that on the Birrs' couch. I mean, I'm at home. They all deserted me today. There's problems technically. Mike said, I have to go to Adam's. I'm taking my computer. And the next thing, the kids come traipsing down the stairs. And I was actually cooking lunch and they all just disappeared. And they're all intertwined on, you know, on the Birrs' sofa. And that is how our life has been for the last 19 years. You know, we just have been two families that have been so integrated together. There's so much love, and, you know, and Kirstie has been that incredible friend who has helped me through my marriage, my parenting, you know, helped me, you know, with difficult friendships that I've had. We've had our moments. They've not always been pleasant. We've had to work through things ourselves, but she's always been willing to do that. You know, we shared my second birth and her first birth together. We were pregnant together. And I remember being in labor with Sam, and I'm sat in the bath and I'm on the phone to Kirsty, and she's like, "What's it like, Marie? What's being in labor like?" She had 3 months to go. And I'm like, "Give me a second, Kirsty. I'm just having a contraction. I just have to lift my bottom off the ground to let it pass." And then I'd be back on the phone. And we were on the phone for about half an hour while I was in labor. And that is the type of friendship we had. It was just so integrated. You know, in the last few days for me, it's like, you know, like that's been kind of wrenched away from me. That, you know, that kind of, it was more than a friendship. It was more than a sisterhood. It was just something so special that it's kind of, it's just weird that it's now been separated from me physically, but in spirit, it's always there. But I just really want to just close out, because I think Proverbs 31 is who Kirsty was. And I'm going to read from verse 25, because this speaks to who Kirsty really, really was from the bottom of her heart. And it says, "She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come." Totally, totally Kirsty. "She speaks with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children arise and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting. Not that she ever lost those things, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Honor her for all that her hands have done, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate." And I believe that Kirsty's work has brought her praise wherever she has gone. She's truly, truly an amazing woman, and deserves a place in heaven, and deserves to be wearing her crown, and deserves to be sitting at the right hand of Jesus. Amen.
Thanks for sharing, Marie. Thanks so much for that. Let's have Rubik and Adam.
Thank you, Michael. And I just want to thank everyone. We did not, myself and Fiona, we have just been here 3 weeks in Glasgow. And we are certainly, for both of us, we are very honored to be here. And it's not been easy. You know, it's been difficult. But it's also been very inspiring. It's been very uplifting with the way people have really got together and helped Adam. The amount of sisters have been in the house, variety of people. Adam will himself share about that. I'm going to leave that for him. But we've just been witnesses of amazing family spirit. I must say also with Edinburgh Church this morning, and they had the same feelings, very deep, and for over many years. Didn't know, myself and Fiona, we have not known Kirsty as well as many of you have known. But in the last few weeks, and certainly in the time that she was really, her health was deteriorating, but her spirit continued to still be an upward call for all of us. As I reflect on what I'm hearing, and with a number of people that have actually as well from far and wide, people who have been in the church, people who are in the church, and people who have never actually visited the church. she had an impact everywhere. It reminds me of a few scriptures in the Bible. The first scripture it remind me of was actually in 1 Samuel. I'm going to just read the verse. In 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 30, and it says, the Lord says, therefore the Lord, the God of Israel, declares, I have promised the members of your family, and he says, far be it from me, those who honor me, that I will honor, and those who despise me, I will despise. God makes a promise that those who honor him, he will honor. And just seeing Kirsty having the last week, certainly having all of her family with her, having her mom, having her husband, having the children, having all her friends participate in her last days. It was just amazing. It was like God really honoring her with every possibility so that she could have a good journey. Leaves. And then it reminds me of another scripture again in 2 Samuel chapter 14. And it comes across from everything I hear and from her life. This was the spirit that seemed to be completely and utterly in Kirstie's life. And it comes from verse 14 of 2 Samuel chapter 14. This is the Spirit of God. And that very Spirit seems to just really be radiant in her life. As we said, we didn't know Kirstie, but this is what is just radiant. And it says in verse 14, it says, like water spilled on the ground, which cannot be recovered, so we must die. But that is not what God desires. Rather, he divides ways. A banished person does not remain banished from him. And that seems to be the spirit that Kirstie had, wherever she was and with whoever she was, either inspiring, building, or calling people towards God. And that's just incredible. I mean, that just seems to resonate so strong, so powerfully, and so clearly. And as we watched Kirstie depart from this world, it reminded me of another scripture, actually, as I was just pondering on her life. And someone mentioned Apostle Paul. I don't know who he was, but someone said she was like the Apostle Paul. And this is what Apostle Paul writes in Romans 14. And this scripture seems to just completely, utterly be so much in line with her spirit. And that's in Romans chapter 14. And it says in verse 7, I will read 7 and 8. It says, for none of us lives for ourselves alone, and none of us dies for ourselves alone. If we live, we live for the Lord. And if we die for the Lord. So whether we live or die, to the Lord. And that seems to just so powerfully come across. She was here among us. She would be a source of inspiration continuously, regardless of where and how life treated her. And even at the point of, where she was saying her goodbyes and leaving, this scripture seems to just live through her. And, as it says, if we live, we'll live for the Lord. And if we die, we die for the Lord. So everything about her resonates just God. And the impact is immense. So we were very privileged to be even for this short time here. I suppose the only thing I was just a little bit concerned, because being myself a married man, you know, and just identifying with Adam, having 4 children, you know, I don't know how long they've been married. I suppose about 20 years or so, somewhere close by to that, I would imagine. As I was actually walking in today, and I was in the park with my dog, and I was praying about Adam and the future. And I was just thinking how we need to support him somehow, because to make a change from being there, having a companion of life for so long, and suddenly to be in a journey now on your own, and to be, you know, whereas you would have a companion you would speak to, I mean, I get such a blessing speaking to Fiona and helping me in so many ways. And those who are singles, I know you have friends and you have companions who talk to you. And it's such a blessing to have those companions. And how we need to support Adam now, because the journey now could be a little bit different and perhaps have new challenges. So we hope and we pray that we will be there to support as you face the new battles of life with our help. That's all I wanted to say, and thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely, thank you, Rubik. Fiona, are you going to say anything?
I don't want to take too much time because, you know, I think so much has already been said. I mean, the one thing that's really impressed me about your church and the church and Kirsty being very much at the heart of it is just how together you all are. And I think, Adam, you know, for you, the one thing that's going to really help you through this next stage is the continued togetherness of the churches. And that I really admire and respect. And yes, Rubik said, we didn't know Kirsty anywhere near the way you did, but she served us too, you know. I mean, only 6 weeks ago, she was doing a house viewing for us. And that just epitomizes Kirsty, doesn't it? So I think I'll leave it there. But thank you for inviting us to be here. Thank you very much, Mike.
Thanks so much, Fiona. Thanks for both of you sharing. Great thoughts as well, Rubik. Last but not least, Adam.
Hi everybody. Firstly, just really want to thank everyone for coming along to the service, coming along, staying on to the Zoom call to the very bitter end. So really appreciate everyone being around. And as Rubik and other people said, there's some very special people, and everyone here is special. There's, in particular, in the last few weeks, really, I think about William Renaug, Chris and Suzanne and Mike and Marie, just really how they have supported Kirsty and our family tremendously. William and Renaug were with us when Kirsty passed away last Thursday, and they stayed over for a couple of days beforehand, and it was just they were just a perfect couple to have around. With William being a district nurse, so he was kind of telling me to phone his work colleagues. He wasn't here in a nursing capacity, he was here as a friend, but he knew exactly what I should be doing. So I didn't let my wife suffer, and I would be someone who wouldn't want to disturb the nurses. And he was like, no, this is the time to call them. You need to call now. And it was really great just to have William and Renaug with a physio expertise, helping to move my wife and help her to do what she could and not do what she shouldn't, which is a challenge still. And it was just so great to have these people around me, to have the support of everyone else. And I feel so loved, and I feel so much everyone's prayers. I know everyone has been praying for Kirsty, and everyone's been praying for our family, and we've felt those prayers. You know, it was the week before last was definitely the toughest week, to try and get my wife to hospital to have her chemo, and then for the doctor to say she's not well enough to have the chemo, and to bring to be given the option that she either dies in hospital or dies at home, and I chose to drive her home, and that was the saddest journey, very sad. And it was very tough. But then the church, you know, again, Renaug and Suzanne had this idea we should celebrate Christmas. So we celebrated Christmas last Saturday, and it was the most wonderful day. We had a tough week, and it was just turned into this magical thing that was made possible by so many people, and my son, it was really affecting Isaac as well, and he said, this is the best day ever at the end of the week. And yeah, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. And then on Sunday, more people came along to say goodbye, and she was going downhill on a sort of, I was going to say daily, but it was more than daily, like in a 6 hour base, on a sort of 6 to 12 hour basis, she was changing and was getting worse and deteriorating. And it was, she went at the right time. She went surrounded by her family. We could see God's hand, just even in a device that was giving her medication that was started to beep an alarm, even though in reality there was nothing to make it fail. It was just God alerting us to that her passing was near. And we gathered around, and she died with all her family and William Renauk and her mum surrounding her. And it was beautiful. She slipped away without pain, and we just looked around and thought, she's here. Her soul has departed, and she's at peace, and we're all at peace. And we've been living off of these incredible things. We've been living off last Saturday. We've been living off just a sweet person who faded away. Even in her last hour, she had that grit, she had that determination, she had that sense of humor, and she had that sense of gratitude and sweetness in her. We thought she was passing on Tuesday, and she came around and said, I felt better. And it was just wonderful just to hear her. And for 19 years, I've been married to this wonderful person, truly wonderful person. And we've just had such a blast, such a laugh together, such a wonderful time together. And I was really struck. She won my heart by, she just really, well, first of all, she laughed at my jokes. And it was just, so she already had a big tick, because no one else did. And it was just brilliant. And then I thought, actually, maybe I should look for some spiritual qualities as well. And she really had them in abundance. And she really cared for people. She really cared for me. She would do different things in Birmingham, and I'd fast sometimes, and she knew when I was fasting, and she'd come along with food parcels from the days I wasn't fasting and things like this. So it was just wonderful. And she cared about me spiritually, and she would knock me down a peg or two when I needed knocking down, which actually was fairly often. And she had a way with words that she didn't mince. It was just this wonderful. No, some people, I've got literally hundreds of messages have been sent to me, and the messages have mentioned her feisty spirit, and it's true. She had this feisty spirit, and I read. Sometimes I'll come home and say, "Well, I fed this homeless person today," and she said, "Well, you got your treasure now, then, haven't you? You're not supposed to tell anybody." And and that was and that was it. Okay. But they also told me that I knew what Kirstie did. I knew that I will never know exactly who Kirstie was. I never know exactly what she did for everyone, because she'd do so many things and not tell me. She would feed the homeless. She would go in and she would find someone outside. The person that we walk past every day, well, she would be the one who would stop. She would be the one who would go in the shop. She would be the one who would go and buy that person a week's worth of shopping and just give it to them and not tell anyone about it. She'd be the one who would say, I really want to go and help this person. Adam, is it okay if we give this money to that person? So absolutely. And we had this kind of relationship of just constantly pushing each other. And that sort of would cause friction at times, but it was brilliant. I mean, she would push me and I would push her. I'd say, let's have a party. Let's have a party. It'd be really great to go and have a party. And then she'd push me, because she was like, you can't just have people around, because I'd just be like, let's go and have people around. And she's like, you can't do that. We've got to make it awesome. We've got to do this. We've got to do that. We've got to do this. You've got to spend that money that you didn't want to spend. And it would just be, and we would have this incredible time, and we just go and push each other, and just push me in all sorts of directions. You know, she booked a holiday in Germany, and so I booked a holiday. We're gonna hire a car, and you're gonna drive from Germany into Denmark. And yeah, we're going to start off in Hamburg. And I was like, I've never driven on the other side of the road before. This is just like, okay, brilliant. But it was great because we just pushed each other in this way, and we had this great relationship, and it was truly wonderful. And I'm still, someone sent me this this kind of poem yesterday or the day before about how we pick the threads. So how God is the weaver on the loom of life. It's a bit of a tongue twister. I struggle with English as the best of the times, but loom of life is a struggle. And how we pick the threads that go through the loom, and God is the one who weaves those threads together. And then eventually we stand back and we see what God has made. And I'm still in that process of standing back and looking at the tapestry of Kirstie's life. It's kind of appropriate for Paisley being so wrapped up in the textile industry. And I just thought that's exactly what I'm doing. It's going to be my rest of my lifetime. I'm going to be standing back and admiring what God did with the tapestry of Kirstie's life. And it's incredible. She leaves behind something really special. In some respects, I know people talk about a hole missing when someone goes. I'm still marveling and reveling in not the whole, but the incredible growth of life in my life that has actually been there because Kirstie was in it. That it's so massive, it's so huge that it's difficult to see the whole at the moment, because I'm just marveling, I'm just standing back thinking, wow, you know, these children, the home, my own character is different. Someone spoke about not, you know, she was never said why me. She didn't. She never was a victim. I am the victim. I am someone who can say, why did this happen? Oh, this is really bad. So, oh. But she never said that. She was like, well, why not me? I live in a fallen world. Bad things happen. Things can happen to me. And she had this never have a victim attitude. And that's something that I will always try and emulate. And so many times I'm going to be in my life just thinking, how would Kirstie handle this situation? You know, what would Kirstie do right now? And she has bizarre, you know, I'm a proud, boneheaded guy, and somehow amongst of it, she has managed to give me some convictions on tidying my house and keep my house clean. So I will definitely be trying to, you know, carry on some of the convictions that she has, not just in household activities, but also in spiritually as well. She just had some incredible convictions spiritually, incredible convictions about loving beyond reason. Just keep on loving, just keep on going, loving unconditionally, just loving who don't love you, loving. I mean, that was just incredible woman. And it's been a privilege to be Mr. Kirstie Birr for the last 19 years. And it really is amazing. And I just really want to thank everyone really for being here, and for just your support. Honestly, I've felt your prayers so much over the last few days, and it's just been truly inspiring. I'm just in awe, and it gives me so much joy. I'm not sad for her because she's in heaven. She is where we all want to go, and this it's sad for us. But it's a victory for our church. It's a victory that she has made it. This is our goal. She is the first one through. And I can, you know, in my victim self, I want to feel like, oh, why is it my wife who's died? But this is a victory. My wife has claimed the prize. She has won the victory. She has won the race. On that day, she got it. You know, and I'm just so in awe. I'm so in awe. I'm still standing back at my marriage and thinking, wow, what a ride. What a ride. And it's been fantastic. So I really want to thank everyone. That's me.
Thank you so much, Adam. Yeah, I really appreciate you sharing. I really appreciate your appreciation of your wife, and you know, just the, like you say, the growth and the warmth, and the, you know, even being in Kirstie's living room right now, it's kind of strange actually, because we had some technical problems before church today, and I ended up to come round here to deliver some electronic data, probably the fastest way I could, which is by car. and yeah, so I'm here now, but you know, this room is so full of Kirstie, so full of the kids, and you know, just things that she's made, just a nice space that she's made, and just to be here, you know, even just to think, like just a week ago, she was there sitting in that chair, and you know, but the people who were there as well, the warmth that was around was amazing, and yeah, I guess I didn't really share much. There's not much to add. I have known Kirstie a long time though, and I have to say, I think what strikes me really was that she was always ahead of me. You know, just wherever I was spiritually, she was always 3 steps ahead, and she just had an incredible ability to love people, and to be incisive and without being heavy. You know, to be kind of, to understand the need of what was going on, but being light as well, and that was just amazing. And you know, I think your family are such fun, Adam, because and I think, you know, it's to do with you and it's to do with her, and yeah, it's just a real privilege to know you, and to continue to know you and your kids, and I think that's really amazing. I was thinking about, I think it's great seeing Iona at the moment actually, and seeing how she's kind of growing up to be more like Kirstie. And I do remember one time many years ago, in single days, and I remember when we used to go on dates in the church, and I went on a date with Kirstie, and we went out to East Lothian, and I don't really remember where it was. It was this kind of country house we ended up at, and we couldn't afford to go in, so we went and hung out in the garden. And I remember just turning around, and there was Kirstie hanging upside down from a tree. And I think that kind of side to Kirstie hasn't really been mentioned on this call, but you know, half the time I'm sitting with Iona right next to me, and I think, yeah, you know, something's gone full circle, and that's very beautiful. And you know, yeah, she was a great woman, a lot of fun, and yeah, always 3 steps ahead, definitely amazing. So yeah, it's just great to be in your home, great to be with you today, and it's just great to see everybody on the call. So thanks for everybody who shared, thanks for everybody who listened as well. This actually was meant to be a church service, and at church services, what Christians do is they take communion and remember Jesus. You know, what would Jesus do? What would Kirstie do? Yeah, kind of similar. But if anybody wants to take communion with us, I think now is when it's probably going to happen. We've been on this call a long time, so maybe we should just do it quickly. But if we want to do that,